car on pole position, number 4. The car run by Ali Bray's team. And alongside him is David Kempton, sponsored by Redbox Global, A. Woods and Orton Lifts and Escalators, who helped to sponsor this coverage on Alpha Live. Very grateful to them for their ongoing support. And we saw David Kempton out yesterday guesting in the Road Sports Series race as well, a long time BMW stalwart. So 5-second board has been shown. The lights go on and lights go out. Away they go then. Oh, but not for number 91, Hugh Gurney, and that's going to cause a big bottleneck. He gets going now, thankfully, as everyone managed to avoid him, although 1 or 2 had to take to the grass there, including Craig Emerson, number 75.
And there was contact between the cars that were about 4th and 5th. One was the black and yellow car, the other was the silver with the stripes you could see through the spray. And that was because one of the Kempton was slow away, and around the outside came the the amazing car of Graham Crowhurst, the anti-camouflage car, as I call it.
Yeah, and he's in a Class M2 car, and he leads overall. So there's classes M1 and M2. M1 is for the more powerful M-engined cars. M2 for the less powerful M-engined cars.
We saw Rick Kerry there in 2 just get squeezed onto the grass momentarily. Different car for him, as you were saying, not the 118 V8, but a big E46 M3, and they sound fantastic. The induction noise from these BMWs is brilliant.
That black car there, the 46 car, is our championship leader, Matt Page, and he was very sideways there through Palmer, but managed to get the car pointing back in the right order once again. Slippery surface flags out almost all afternoon here now to warn the drivers of the hazards on the track surface, but certainly it was a very good start from Graham Crowhurst. Then from the outside of row 2, he leads the number 71 car of Niall Bradley, who's up from row 4 of the grid, the outside of row 4, 8th position he started, so he's got away very well. And then the rest of them all following through. There's Mike Cutt with the Union flag on his roof. He's had a few wins this season. He's trying to make up a bit of ground, didn't qualify that well.
I think it was the cars of...
Oh, sorry, a spinner, Marcus. That is the 80 or 67 by the looks of it. That's Adrian Williams, one of our Class M2 front runners. And I'm trying to see if there's I thought there might be some damage on that car as well, but we'll see.
Yeah, it was, Cook was one of the guys involved in the squeeze off the line, and it all got a bit sort of hectic in there. Probably as a sort of a knock-on from the problem that Kempton had getting off the line with the E36 M3.
There's Williams getting back up to speed, having had that spin. There's Mike Cutt, number 44, and he started 9th on the grid. Leaders turning their way out of Brundle and Nelson and towards the bomb hole for the first time in what will be a short, sharp 13-minute plus 1 lap race. There's the 191 car. That's Adrian Ferdinand, the BMW 325 Ti, one of the Cup class cars. It's a real budget way to go BMW racing.
Yeah, 77 was the other car that got involved in that squeeze, and that was Chris Bierland.
Yes, he's been involved in a start line squeeze before at Brands Hatch earlier in the year. But it's Crowhurst from Bradley, 0.8 of a second between those. I think it was Brands Hatch a couple of weeks ago we saw Niall Bradley, wasn't it, racing alongside Rod Burley in one of the Southern Saloon races down there, and went pretty well, so he's having a good run here too. He's got Gary Huff at the pole position man just behind him, and his fellow front row starter David Kempton in the E36 M3 just behind. It's an E46 though for Bradley, who's still there in 2nd place. Hufford, who was 3 seconds faster than anybody else in qualifying, but still 3rd in the race at the moment. Jim Benson, I can see, leading Class 6, and the Cup class is not being led by Stephen Schweikart because he's an invitation class car, but by Matt Page from Adrian Ferdinand's. So there is Crowhurst. It's actually pretty tight between these first 4 at the moment, Marcus.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and they're fishtailing as they come out of the tighter bends, and they hit some standing water. But it's yeah, very good stuff, and they're such spectacular looking cars. They look brilliant. So certainly these E46 M3s that we've seen quite a lot of with the 750 Motor Club in recent seasons in different series are great race cars.
They are indeed, and it's unsurprising that you see so many of them being brought out and making such a success of this. Oh, and off has gone 83. That's Gary Burstow in his E46 M3, the M2 class car, into the tyre barriers, I'm afraid, and he's clambering over the tyre barriers on the exit of Agostini, and yeah, he's out of the race, I'm afraid to say, which is a shame because he'd started reasonably well up the order in 12th place.
Crowhurst under attack now from the 71 car of Niall Bradley, and through Nelson they come, and behind them you've got Hufford and Kempton, the front row men, keeping a watching brief. Halfway through the timed element of this race by the time they get through to Murray's at the end of this lap.
Yeah, so it's about 8 minutes to go. Turning their way through the left-hander at Murray's they go then. It's a gap back to Paul Cook, who's thinking 5th position. Mike Cook looks to be in 6th place at the moment. Sometime Northern Sports and Saloon Car Driving champion indeed in that category. So top 3 basically together as they come over the line. Watching the number 2 car of Rick Kerry on screen at the moment as the leaders head into Ridge's corner. It's a big ball of spray, about all we can see. There they go. It's still Crowhurst from Bradley, but Hufford now trying to go around the outside of him there at Ridge's corner. He's absolutely alongside as they head up towards Wilson then for the 3rd time in this race. And it's going to be Bradley that just about hangs on, although Hufford will be on the left-hand side of the circuit, the inside of the circuit for the left-hand when he's done it, I think. So Hufford around the outside of Bradley goes through into 2nd place, and now David Kempton in his older model is going to try and follow through as well. And that's down at Palmer.
It's going very close down the inside, and I'd be surprised that there wasn't just a little rub through there, but it's difficult not to in these conditions. And there we go. So it's Crowhurst from Hufford now. Crowhurst in the black, white and red anti-camouflage car, then the orange and black white car of Gary Hufford. 3rd is the white car of Kempton. 4th is now Neil Bradley, who came up from row 4. Interesting amount of camber they run on the front wheels of these cars to make them work. I know it's exacerbated slightly by the TV cameras, but you can see that when they come towards you. A lot of negative camber.
Yeah, so Crowhurst is that's leading overall and Class 2. Gary Hufford now leading in Class 1. Class 6 for the 6-cylinder cars is being led by Jim Benson, and the Cup class is now Adrian Ferdinand's got the lead away from Matt Page. So those two have swapped around in there. But that's an invitation class car for Stephen Schweikart, so he's not in the Cup class. So he is ahead on the road of all of those cars, but not within that class.
Crowhurst holding on at the Brundle-Nelson area of the circuit. Hufford attacking, but he's got to be careful through the bomb hole. There's issues there with a bit of standing water. Easy to get spooked by that. But going after them now is David Kempton, who's looking quite racy, Ian.
Yep, he is a long-time campaigner in this category, of course, is David Kempton there, 52-year-old oil trader. A new car this for this season. It's an 36, although he does prefer the 30 that he used to race in many ways. He's mostly raced in BMW M3s throughout his career, although he did have a brief flirtation racing a Porsche 911 as well. But now Hufford going for the lead as they go into, which is absolutely blasting past Graham Crowhurst there, and he's going to go through, although Crowhurst trying to make it hard work for him up at Rich's corner and sticking around the outside. Crowhurst a winner here last season in the BMW M3 Cup, but he loses out here. But don't forget, Hufford there is in an M1 car, so it is a more powerful car, so we shouldn't be too surprised at how good it was in a straight line. But now Crowhurst might lose out to Kempton here as well on the exit of the corner. And Kempton getting his nose in front.
Yeah, Kempton imposed himself really well down at the hairpin, and Crowhurst suddenly finds himself third.
He does indeed. So they turn their way through. Bradley almost off the circuit, I think, there on the exit of Palmer. Here is Kempton now, threatening Hufford for the lead. And on the brakes they go, side by side for Agostini. and it might be Kempton that's able to make this work. Bit of a twitch there from Hufford on the exit of the corner. Kempton's got his nose in front, you can see as they turn through Hamilton. Yes, he's done it. Kempton goes through into the lead of the race. So, and then a big moment on the way out of Hamilton. Hufford gets back alongside him now as they go to Oggy. He's trying to go round the outside of him there. And number 11, Kempton, I think he's going to hang on, or is he? They are door handlers. They go through Oggies and onto that little blast up until Williams. And I think finally, Marcus, Kempton has got that done.
Yeah, it looks like it's taken him most of the infield section of this 300 track at Snetterton, but this very powerful car of Hufford coming back at him down the straight, that's for sure. And behind now is Crowhurst, unable to do that much about them at the moment other than to watch and to try to repel those behind, headed by Noel Bradley, Paul Cook, Chris Byron and the rest of them.
Good effort this from David Kempton, because in qualifying he was about 3 seconds slower than Gary Hufford, don't forget. Lap times are not as good as they were in qualifying, so it was 2:34 the pole position time for Hufford and 2:37 for Kempton, but we're into the sort of 2:42 so far in this rain-affected race. And car stops on circuit. That's not the first time we've seen that, but it's got going again, thankfully. That's number 3, which I think is Kaz Singh, who was running in 14th place. So good to see that car get moving again, so the race can continue. As Kempton now comes through to complete lap 4 of this race. Over the line he comes, with Gary Hufford in close pursuit. But not much to choose between those two down the straight, it would seem. They have put quite a lot of daylight between themselves and Graham Crowhurst now in 3rd place, Niall Bradley in 4th, Paul Cook in 5th, Chris Byallen there in 6th, Mike Cutt in 7th. Clearly not enjoying these conditions as much as he has done at some early rounds this season, where he's taken wins. Mick Kerry 8th, Jim Benson, our Class 6 leader, quite comfortably actually leading Class 6. Because the next fastest car, the next car on track is Kevin Denverton, and he's a few cars behind with the other cars ahead of him. And side by side for the lead once again as they come through Palmer, and it's Kempton and Hufford. Hufford gets a good run off Palmer that time. We'll try and draw alongside Kempton on the way down towards Agostini. He'll be on the outside line, which we've seen can actually be quite useful in these conditions. Kempton goes quite deep in, and on the way out it is still Kempton that is ahead of Hufford, but a real good dice between these two, Marcus.
Yeah, it is, and it's good they're in different eras of the BMW M3. That the motorsport, which is what the M is for, cars have been absolutely iconic within racing over the years on the global stage as well as this. And he's gone wide, Kempton, and a massive slide as Hufford tried to just take advantage of that, turned in a little bit harder, but unfortunately he didn't have the grip to do it for him. But Kempton breathes again, a big sigh of relief for David Kempton as they come up to Williams corner and then feed out onto the Bentley straight. There's another opportunity for Hufford to claw back that tenuous deficit. Yeah,
so Hufford there, the 52-year-old builder from Stevenage, raced in MX-5s originally, did a couple of years in the M3 Cup, switched to the BMW Car Club Racing Series as it was for last year, had 4 wins, and so far this season's had a couple to go along with that. Wins have been fairly well spread around in the BMW Car Club Racing Championship this year. Mike Cook having 3, Gary Hufford 2, Rick Kerry 3, David Kempton 1, and Michael Pensfeld, the invitation class driver, had 1 last time out at Alton Park. So we've used up all of the time in this race, so it will be the last lap about to get underway here for David Kempton et al. There's a good scrap going on still there for 3rd between Graham Crowhurst, who's still got Niall Bradley's M1 car between himself and his nearest M2 rival, which is Paul Cook, who's a fair bit of the way down the road actually. And now it looks like Bradley's going to get 3rd away from Crowhurst. Crowhurst tries again to repel him, but it looks like Bradley has gone through there and taken 3rd position away. So with the cars now working their last lap, just looking down the order, can see, or as Crowhurst might come back as Bradley runs wide. So we're going to have M1 leader Kempton, M2 leader Crowhurst, 6-cylinder class leader still Jim Benson, and in the Cup class it's still Adrian Ferdinand who's having his best run so far. It's going to be a rare defeat inflicted on Matt Page in the Cup class by the looks of things. The two leads, and there's still a chance with half a lap to go, Marcus, that Gary Hufford could come back and win this.
Yeah, he's not going to stint now, is he? Because he's worked out most of the places where there's no grip. Maybe he'll find some where there is now, but he'll come back. Crowhurst, meanwhile, has another go at trying to get on terms with Niall Bradley, but closing them down is Paul Cook in the 26 car. But there's Kempton, our leader. Again, doesn't seem to... and that's good. A better exit this time out of Oggies for chaser Gary Hufford.
Meanwhile, just a little bit further back, here we are. The battle also all of a sudden for the lead of M2 has joined, because Paul Cook has got right on terms with Graham Crowhurst. He's made up 2 seconds during the course of this lap so far to get on the back of him and potentially snatch the M2 victory away on the final lap. Oh, Jim Benton, that's our 6-cylinder class leader. He's off on the grass and he just keeps it out of the barriers. But I think, well, our heart was in our mouth here with the commentary box. I should think his was as well, because that barrier was looming awful large in his windscreen there. So it's Kempton from Hufford, only about a car and a half length between them as they head through the compression at the bomb hole towards Coram for the final time. I wonder possibly if Hufford, if he can get a good exit from Murray's, could blast past on the run to the line.
He needs a clean entry to Murray's to get that exit. If he can not get too bottled up with Kempton, but can just tighten his line coming through, get on the power and get away with it. No, he's gone very wide at the apex, and he's got the grunt, but he's not quite got the position, I suspect, to get him.
He's going to give it a go. He's going to pull alongside. Well, no, not quite alongside. Gap between them at the end, 0.17 seconds. But what about the battle for Class M2? Well, it's going to be Graham Crowhurst that gets it. There he goes now to take 4th place overall in the Class M2 win by 2 tenths. So 1700ths between the 2 M1 cars at the front, 2 tenths between Crowhurst and Cook, the 2 M2 cars. Another spin for Adrian Williams there in number 67. There you can see Mike Cutt going across the line in 6th, and Chris Byallen was only just behind him in 7th. So quite a few close finishes here today in the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. Then we are going to get 8th place to number 2, Rick Kerry, out in Jason Hollyhead's car, I think, this weekend. 9th place should go the way of, well, it was going to be Jim Benson who was next through, but he had that spin, or that off, that took him close to the barrier. So that might mean that Stephen Schweikart is promoted in the invitation class compact. But no, actually Jim Benson was far enough ahead to stay in 9th place. So it's
lost
then
about 6 seconds with that, didn't he?
Yeah, Schweikart in 10th, and then we'll have Robert Davidson coming through in 11th. 12th place going to Hugh Gurney, the car that stalled on the line. Darren Ball 13th and 2nd in Class 6, just ahead of Kevin Denwood, and that changed during the course of that race. And then as far as the Cup class is concerned, I think they've yet to come through, but I do now see the 191 car coming through, so that's the win there for Adrian Ferdinand in the Cup class, and 2nd within that class I think we'll see number 46 Matt Page. But that was a really good race, Marcus.
A really good race, Ian, and at the end of it, it's clear that for many the track was at its best on that last lap. David Kempton at his best at 2:39.77, our race winner, and in 2nd place Gary Hufford at 2:39.01, which I venture is the best lap of the race. Bradley was within a 10th of his best in 3rd place. Crowhurst was about a second away from his, but he was strong early in the race when he led, and Paul Cook was back in the 41s, having been there earlier in the race. So Chris Byallen set his best on the last lap, as did several others further down the field. So really exciting BMW Car Club Racing BMW Cup round, and there's another one later in the day.
Yes, there is. That will round off our programme here at Snetterton this afternoon. Looks like we're going to get the same thing at the end of this race as well, to try and hold the the BMWs from getting into the pit lane, while the Club Enduro cars are released out onto the circuit. So a lot of those to come out for our next race of the day, which is the Takiwa Club Enduro Championship race. So that's what is coming up next, our 2-hour spectacular. But yeah, looks like we're going to get the same thing again. So we'll have a chance, just a little bit of a chance, hopefully, to get a word with our winner, David Kempton, at the end of that race in a few moments' time. But we'll have the cars being brought out onto the circuit for the Takiwa Club Enduro Championship as well. So possibly while we wait for the BMWs to be coming in, let's just have a think about what is going on in the Takiwa Club Enduro Championship. So here we've got Steve Cheetham already having wrapped up the Class B Championship in his Porsche Boxster, and he could wrap up the whole thing this weekend with another round still to go at Silverstone in a fortnight. However, if Andrew Lightstead and Imran Khan can win their class, they're in a Class C car, and Steve Cheetham wins his in his Class B car, then it will go down to the final meeting of the season, which will be at Silverstone in a couple of weeks' time. But that's all in the classes. We've got a very busy grid of cars as well, with a good quality Class A field here this weekend. And we'll have on pole position for the Club Enduro race, the car being shared between Michael Price and Marcus Clutton, and it is going to be Michael Price that will start that car in the Club Enduro race. Just going down some of the other start drivers for you. Carl Swift will start the number 6 car, the Seat Leon Euro Cup car, that will be also driven by Rob Baker during the course of this one. Rory Hind and Owen Fitzgerald, well, that's going to be Owen Fitzgerald starting that car. Luke Sajikowski will be starting the BMW M4 that lines up on row 3 of the grid. Then we've got the Lee and Jeff Piercy car. That's another shared entry, and that's going to be started by Lee Piercy. Ben Salmon and Nick Starkey, they'll start on row 5 of the grid in the number 83 car that we started by, actually it's not Nick Starkey but Matt Maxted this weekend. He said updating his information. John Lamaster today is sharing with Craig Denman, and it's Craig Denman that will start the number 65 car. Matthew Wallace and Simon Wallace, good to see their car fixed after an incident in the road sports race yesterday, so Matthew Wallace will have another go at starting that one. Pip Hammond now going to drive the 719 Porsche Boxster solo in this Club Enduro race, PDC racing machine, so Gavin Johnson not taking the drive. Then the 192 car, that presumably is going to be started by Darren Anderson. Number 10 we think going to be started by Oliver Crease. Number 46 being started by Will Ashmore. Darren Kell racing on his own this weekend in the number 68 car. St James is on duty at Brands Hatch. That's probably just about as much time as I'm going to have to tell you about that, because we do now have drivers heading into the pit lane. So let's head down once more to Matt Suckling.
Yeah, thanks Ian. So down here with David Kempton, it's quite a busy pit lane now with everything happening in terms of congestion on the track to try and get the next cars ready. But David Kempton's down here, he's taking his race helmet off, and we'll have a word with him after what was a very tricky race indeed. We'll get Leanne to present a garland and a winner's cap as well, which is always nice for the drivers to receive. Dave, well done. That was a fantastic race, a great battle between you and Graham.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Gary's a fantastic driver. They're all fantastic drivers, and you know, this is especially for my wife and 2 boys at home that support me. I deserve this today. And the conditions out there were treacherous. It's like someone had got a big vat of kitchen oil and chucked it right across the circuit. You know, we were power sliding at 70 mile an hour. You know, everyone giving each other room. A couple of moves I made, I was hoping that it'd see me coming through. It was very, very fair. And like I say, that's probably one of the hardest races in 25 years that I've had. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was great to watch you and Gary going hammer and tong the whole way around that lap. And as you said, the rear end stepping out, and with rear-wheel drive, it's even harder, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, we wanted to try and... Qualifying was OK. We needed to find a bit of an edge, and the edge was a little bit of rain, and we took a gamble of a little setup, and it transformed the car, because Gary was 3 seconds a lap quicker in quali, so we had to try something, and it transformed the car. But he's fantastic, Gary. I mean, the start I completely messed up. I went from first to fourth, got bogged down. Gary's had no second gear, so he's gone first to third, so everyone went round us, so it was a lot of hard work. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and well done to the rest as well.
It was brilliant. Good luck for race number 2 as well. I don't know if we've got time to grab a quick word with Gary. I think we possibly have, so let's grab Gary first, though, who finished M2 winner and second in that race. Look at that. Great to see you two guys going brilliantly throughout that race. And how did you find that, Gary? That was room given every quarter.
Yeah, I couldn't get the pace that I had in qualifying. Obviously, it's just a lot more wetter out there. But, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. It's nice to have a good battle with Dave. Obviously, the M2 cars got me on the start. Obviously, just trying to get past them was quite hard. But, yeah, it was good. It's really good.
It's brilliant. What do you reckon for race number 2? It may be dry, who knows, but that could give us another cracking race.
Yeah, same again. Yeah, we just depends how dry. If it gets a lot drier, but hopefully I'm hoping it stays the way it is. But see what happens.
So with that gap as well, it's fantastic. Well, and Gary, we'll let you jump off as well. Let's now bring in our next one, Graham Crowhurst, I think this is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Graham, well done there. That was a brilliant battle. Great towards the end there. Everything was closing up.
Yeah, well, I had a good gap at the start. I got a really good start, and then I don't know if I got worse or everyone else got better. Obviously, the M1s came through, which I wasn't really worried about as long as they didn't affect me. Paul caught me right at the end, and it was basically down to who got the power down out of the last corner. Thankfully, it was me.
It's all about the drag to the line as well, because we know here at Snetterton, 2 long straights, it's all about keeping ahead on towards the checker flag.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I went defensive into the last corner, which normally would put you in the wrong place, but because of the inside line being grippy, it gave me the good drag, which got me the class win.
Still a great job, well done. Congratulations on the class victory there. That's Graham Crowhurst. And we'll try and bring in as well here our next one. Who have we got here?
Jim Benson.
Jim, that was very scary on the last lap. You're off the track at one point.
Yeah, I was, thankfully I'd built enough of a lead, so when I came back on I hadn't lost a place, so grateful for a good start.
You had a few places over the rest of your class kind of rivals there, so that was handy.
Yeah, that's right. Managed to get a few people in between me and the leaders behind in Class 6, so yeah, thankfully gave myself a little bit of room. Out there, it's really sketchy. You've got to work really hard for every single corner, every lap. So I was grateful for any gap I had at all.
Race 2 should be a good one.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it's going to be just as dicey out there, even if there is no more rain. So, yeah, same again, I think.
Good stuff. Well done, Jim. Congratulations on your class win as well. And there we go then, podium with the BMW class winners here at Snetterton. More to look forward to from them a little bit later on. In the meantime, cars ready on the grid for the next race, which is the 2-hour Enduro for the De Giwa Club Enduro Championship.